YouTube and just watch our link, that I shared. And just let me know, everything is coming proper.
Everything, nothing is visible currently.
Okay. Let me know when it starts coming properly.
I guess the streaming hasn't started yet on
Okay.
YouTube.
Has it started now?
Yeah, it has started.
Watch our link.
Awesome.
You can see yourself?
Uh,
Not yet, right?
Currently, I cannot see myself.
Okay.
Okay, just a second. I paused
Now
it.
you can?
Don't
Now,
know.
now you can see yourself, right?
I can see you, but I cannot see myself.
What you're seeing right now, black screen and me?
I'm seeing a screen, and uh, I think this is YouTube dashboard or something like
Yeah,
that.
but now can you see after that? YouTube dashboard is empty and everything.
I think it's it's a bit slow currently. Will take time. Uh, Maybe I'm not able to see myself, but are you able to see me? Uh,
Of course, I
yeah,
can.
awesome, awesome,
I can see you right
awesome.
now. You are visible,
Yeah,
right?
awesome. Yeah. Now I'm
Awesome.
visible.
I'll just make it full screen and we start. And we are live right now, so that should be awesome. Let's see. How can I make it full screen? Yeah. Okay, Venkatesh. So let's start with our stream today. Hey guys, welcome to second episode of Let's Talk. And today, we have a little unique topic, and we'll be talking about product management. And I have a product manager in front of me, my friend Venkatesh. So he'll be guiding us, and also telling us and giving us some knowledge about what is product management and what it feels like to be one. So let's get to Venkatesh and get an idea about him, like how he has reached and this journey, etc. So Venkatesh, can you share us about yourself a little?
Hey Ankit, thanks for having me on your show. Like it's a real delight to be on your podcast. I was really very nervous, and we have did a lot of uh, tries before the podcast got started. So yeah, let's start the podcast.
Yeah, like you can give a little information about yourself, and then we'll get started. Yeah.
Uh, yeah, Ankit. So yeah, my introduction is always a bit vague because my name is Venkatesh. I'm not from South India. So this is how I introduce generally myself because the next question is always a follow up. So you're not from South India. So you're from? I'm like, I'm from Bihar. Acha, you're from Bihar, but your name is Venkatesh. So there's always an icebreaker in the conversation. So this is my typical introduction. Uh, Moving ahead, Ankit, as you know that we have passed out from the same college, and most of our college life we have lived together. So you know that I was never meant to be an engineer, or I never thought myself that I would be an engineer.
I understand,
Uh,
man. Yeah.
so yeah, at some point of time, I dreamt of being a cricket commentator like Harsha Bogle because I loved how Bogle narrated the story between bat and ball. Then, uh, when I was in 11th or 12th, I thought that I would be a content writer. Uh, but life happens at various stages of life, and then I landed up doing engineering. Landing in my university was a big cultural shock for me because you always have a very green, dream of being in a university or being in an engineering college, and I found that most people around me were quite mediocre, and they were just not like they were just not someone I would wish to be my friends, and so that's how my college life started. It was quite boring in the first year. It just passed.
Yeah, are you comfortable saying all this? Because maybe some of our mates are also watching us. Like I asked them as well to hop in. Maybe was it
Oh,
that
I'm
boring?
really very comfortable. I don't think that
Okay,
should be an issue. I think it's a free flowing conversation, Ankit, and your
I
podcast
understand, man.
should be known for that.
Yeah, definitely.
And you should definitely not prevent me from doing this.
Go ahead, man. I'm just being curious. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So that is how my first year in engineering passed, and I was not very good at academics. I really focused on my academics. Then in third year, in the second year, in the third semester, I came in contact with Deepak. So Deepak was that guy who was always filled with idea, and he wanted to do a startup and उसे पैसे कमाने थे. So he was that guy who would constantly pester me कि ये करते हैं वो करते हैं, and he was learning Android. And then I would pitch ideas like we would build something like an Indian version of TED Talk. Later, there's a Joe Talk, but yeah, we thought of building it at that point of time. And so that is when I started gaining momentum in my college life, that what I really wanted to do in my life. So we did a lot of experiments. In my fourth semester, we started a storytelling society in our college, Hawkpick, that is every story matter and is worth telling. And that was something really very exciting for me because we got to work with a lot of people. Ankit, you were also a part of it, you were late.
Yeah, definitely.
We got to work with a lot of people who were very passionate about content, digital marketing, and interviewing people around. So that was a great experience for us. And it was just the time when Geo was launched in India. So a 40 rupees Facebook ad would give you so many views and likes and shares. And that was really very exciting time. And luckily, we were able to maintain the quality of stories that we were doing, and we also shared our feed of stories with BuddyBit. So BuddyBit is a platform with 10 million
So,
active
so, so
active
does that help you,
subscribers.
to get into this profession of being a product manager? Because like people who are graduating like us, it's very hard to get it at the first, just new graduates coming out and getting a product management position. So, but like these things help you in getting into that, maybe like you were
I
interested
will not
about being.
spill all my tea because my story is a bit long, so you should wait for it, Ankit. I would say. Uh,
Okay.
so yeah, so this is how my second year went by. And after my second year, I did an internship on web development at Car Deco. We were working on the used car auction platform, and I was not very fascinated by sitting and doing coding. I thought that this is just not meant for me. Although I learned and enjoyed a lot at my internship. Fast forward, I tried a couple of other things. I got fascinated by AI and ML, and then I did a deep learning internship in Jaipur on building a 3D convoluted neural network. So that was it. Uh, and I also got fascinated that I should prepare for civil services because uh, maybe that is what I wanted to be as a child. So yeah, so then Deepak was building something very vague. He was calling it a startup. He was calling it a repo. I was not able to understand it, what he was doing. But he actually compiled the resources of all the resources that a student would need to to excel in this college and be aware about the opportunities that a student can have. And that was the point that repo on GitHub had more than 5,000 stars, and it was trending, all over the world. In the Oktoberfest, and at that point of time, he pitched me that he's building something, or maybe a startup, and you should join it. I was really not convinced with what he was building or what he was trying to build, but he would call me every day, not every day, so every week, and he would try to convince me. And at that point of time, I had that conviction that I should go for this. So we started on with building a website, and while we were building the website, I was very conscious about the copy that we had in the website, the design, the smaller elements that we have on the website. It was a resource listing website, and after that, we thought of creating a one-to-one an online marketplace for one-to-one mentorship, and we tried a lot of mentorship models, some paid, some unpaid. It didn't work out. So yeah, so that is how my college was going on. And I had my share of learnings from all of these things that I was doing because in colleges, academics is something that is not very tough in private colleges. You can cope up with academics, but the learning that you get by doing all these stuffs can really help you to really convince yourself that you can stand out and do something cool. And that is when there was a point in our startup when we thought that this model cannot be scaled, and we shut it down. And then I started looking for a job, and then I started interviewing. Ankit, before you interrupt, there's one more interesting story. Do you want me to spill the beans, or
We'll
Would you
keep
ask
it.
it?
We'll keep it. Later for somewhere after this, because we got a lot of questions also waiting for you. For product management. So maybe what we can make out that you have been a person who has been doing a lot of things. Trying out a lot of things to find out where you fit well, and in that way, you manage to fit into this product management industry. So yeah, like can you elaborate how you actually landed for this job? Like you work at Internshala as a product manager, so how you made it there? Like how what was the process and how it all happened? Yeah.
Yeah, it's a very interesting story, Ankit, because when we shut down our startup, I was like actively interviewing for the product management role because in my startup, I was very much convinced that this is the role that I want to do in the startup, building products, and apart from that, I was doing a lot other things like managing and building the community, handling growth, and all that. But product was something that I was really excited about. Then once we shut down our startup, I was looking for a job. I was on LinkedIn, I was on Twitter, searching and contacting people I'm open to opportunities and I want to work. Then something interesting happened. In March, I had a conversation with the CTO of Internshala. So he had pinged me on LinkedIn, and I was like, he was very much impressed with what we were doing, and we had a long conversation for 1.5 hours. And then uh, in the month of August, he pinged me that we are hiring for product managers, and since you're looking for a PM role, we think you would be right fit. I was like, yeah, like let's move ahead. And then I had my interview with Internshala, and this is how I landed into Internshala.
Awesome. So let's start with some questions about being a product manager, man. Like you have been able to make it into this industry quite early. So yeah, let's start with the first thing only, that what is product management? Like if a person like me, a layman person, asks you that what is product management and what exactly you do as being a product manager, like how can you explain to that person in simple terms? Yeah.
So yeah, Ankit, product has always been a major artifact of any businesses because it's the only tangible experience that your customers get, because this is how they know your brand, they know your company. So product has been the major artifact of the businesses, and so product management is basically about caring about the product like a baby. You're there to take care of your product that it doesn't breaks. You want to improve your product, you want to satisfy your customer, their pain points, their needs. And so product management is all about taking care of the product like your own baby. Apart from that, product management. So this is all about product management. Ankit, I guess your second question was, what is my role as a product manager?
Exactly.
Correct.
So okay, then how you manage to break into being a product manager. Like what is the kind of a strategy? Like there are many people who might be looking for being a product manager. Maybe like graduates like you, or maybe people with some experience. So what do you suggest to them? Like how they can manage to get into this field? What are the key things they need to you know hop into this particular field? Yeah.
Yeah, this is quite interesting because I get at least a couple of messages on LinkedIn and Twitter that, hey, I want to break into product management and what strategy should I follow? Uh, so, yeah, coming how to break into product management, I think uh, one major essence of being a product manager is being curious. So, you have to be intensely curious about anything that is going in the software world, in the startup world. And and per se, I think there are specific strategies on how to crack the product role, but that can vary from person to person. But if someone asks me if they are a layman and want to break into product management, I would suggest that they should start with the book Decode and Conquer.
Okay.
It's a pretty awesome book. You get all those type of questions which are asked in interviews, and then you should refer to a YouTube channel which I follow regularly these days, that is Exponent. Other is you can try solving exercises on websites like product management exercises. And to get deep into what product managers does, the best thing is to reach out to people in your network or people on LinkedIn and Twitter and ask them that what does a product manager does. And so this is how you can actually frame yourself for being a product manager. Again, from interview perspective, it depends from company to company, industry to industry, where you're applying for this. So the strategies can be very different. But I think to get started, Decode and Conquer is a good book. And talking to fellow PMs, people who have been there, done that, it's a pretty good way, Ankit.
Yeah, like you've been product manager for almost a year, I guess. So what is the most exciting part of being a product manager? Like many people want to get into this field, but what are the parts that you really enjoy at your position, and you'd like to share with us? Yeah,
So again, it's been 1 year and 4 months now,
awesome.
little more than 1 year. So yeah, I think for me it has been a dream ride at Internshala because I joined as a PM in September 2019, and when I joined, my first project was to build a brand new product or a business from scratch because Internshala had a internship hiring platform, and we wanted to build a platform for fresher job hiring too, and I had the opportunity to build it from the ideation stage till making it live. So that has been a huge learning curve from me. Apart from that, the daily routine of a product manager of my routine can vary. Like it can vary because it can vary a lot because mostly I have to wake up
Yeah, I guess we have lost connection. Really, from my end, it looks good. Let's see if we can get it back. Hey guys, so I guess we don't have the connection. We have lost the connection with Venkatesh. So by the time he gets back, since this is a live stream, we can talk about a little
go on
about,
and check on my emails early in the morning
okay,
if there are bugs or critical.
I guess we have him back. Hey Venkatesh, you're back. Hey Venkatesh, are
Hello.
you back? Yeah, actually we missed you. Yeah, we lost a connection, I guess.
Sorry. I think my internet was interrupted, so I had to move.
Okay, no issue. So you can, yeah. Where were you? Let's start from there.
I'm not very sure, but yeah. So a day-to-day routine of a product manager can vary a lot. So my day would normally start with a stand-up call, uh, going through some critical issues if there is a bug in the product which needs to be resolved at the earliest, and then if there are any meetings, I prepare for it, and then I would go about doing my usual task.
Okay, that's quite awesome. Yeah. So like you've been like telling us a lot about your journey so far. Getting into this, etc. But like being a product manager is also not that easy. Like I've been watching a lot of stuff on being a product manager. Like people saying that it's one of the hardest part. You have to manage a lot of people, etc. So this interesting question for you is there, like if your CEO asks for a feature, right? Let's say the CEO of your company asks you for a particular feature, and you feel that it's just not it's just not that important. It might be waste of time. So what will you do? You tell him that I won't do it, or you try to explain him. Like, what is your action? You will start working on it, even if you feel it's not the right thing you should be working on, or that's something that like many people say that sometimes you're forced to do certain things that you don't want to. So what will be your take? Like you're being in a company and there's something that you don't want to do and been asked to do. Yeah.
On a lighter note, I would not want my CEO to watch this interview.
Okay.
Uh, but I think, Ankit, we have a very open culture at Internshala. So everything is a deliberate decision. We think of the trade offs and then we make a call. As far as your question is asked, I would definitely try to know the main customer pain points and why we want to solve it, how many customers are facing this issue, and once we solve it, how it will like improve our product or will improve the experience of a lot of
So
customers.
yeah, that way,
So
like you'll try to explain your CEO and everyone about what you feel about it, what are important aspects, and then only you'll start working, right? I guess so.
yeah, exactly.
Okay, that's really awesome. So I got one more question for you. We all know Mr. Musk and Mr. Jobs. Like, they are my personal favorites. Like, I admire them a lot. So like they are not, we can say professional product managers, but I guess they are one of the best as well. Right? I don't think so. They have been taken any lessons or stuff, etc. But they're doing really well, at least for a normal person like me who is not sure about the little bit things that goes on in your product management. Like, Mr. Musk is producing really good cars and spacecrafts, and we already like have this map in front of me. So what do you as a person in the field itself, would you like to put a light on it, that what their role was and how it's different from being a typical project manager as compared to them? Like, there have been a lot of visionary kind of people. So what is the difference of being a typical product manager and being someone like them? Yeah. And do you want to be someone like them? Definitely.
It's an awesome question, Ankit. So, we always say that the founders are the first product manager of any company or any other product that they're building. So for founders, the product is very important because most of the time they would start building it alone, and they are the product managers for the product until the product gets a product market fit. So once you get a product market fit, then only you hire for external product managers, because then your company starts growing and the founder has to give his time leverage to other functions in the company also. So you're considering jobs, and Musk, I would say, they're the father of product management. These guys have really taken the bar high for how we see and perceive digital and physical products. So I think they are the role models for everyone out in the startup arena, in the product arena. So there cannot be any other thought on this.
So you want to be like them, or maybe that's something that maybe that's not the thing that you wish to be.
Maybe I think, Ankit, this is a very tricky question that you'd want to be. I think what I see is that I would want to take my fair share of learning from everyone. So I typically want to learn the best from Elon Musk and what are the best practices of anyone, be it Bill Gates or be it Steve Jobs, and then try to be myself and maintain my individuality. I think that is something that I pursue it like this.
Yeah, that's really awesome. So, yeah, let's get to competition. Being a product manager and handling competition is can be challenging, because you're being in a field of internships, right? So there are many companies, etc., coming up doing the same thing. So how you handle, like, you're making a product and you find out that there are others also doing it, and maybe that's how you manage to keep them, manage your competitors, and like, what is your general strategy that you want to share, that how you handle your competitors? Yeah.
So there are two parts to it, Ankit. First is Internshala is a market leader in internship product, so we don't have any competitor near to us. The second part, Ankit, this is a digital age, and building product is not a competitive mode for any player, because uh, products can be copied, design can be copied, everything can be copied very fast. So I think the trust that a brand or a business creates is something that is very hard to copy. And we at Internshala take very proud in this, because we have a trusted community of 10 million plus students throughout this country. And the trust that we are able to garner with our students, with our employers, has helped us to create a world class product and give them services that adds value in their life every day. So I think regarding competitions, you know, uh, any businesses should try to solve customer problem, try to satisfy and overwhelm the customer, and also try to cultivate trust. So trust is a very important thing between a company and its users. So once you have the trust, your competitors, it's very hard for the competitors to copy it or to challenge you.
Yeah, so a question in the continuation of the previous one, then, like, you're talking about trust, right? So what are specific things that you as a product manager do, to maintain that trust? Because I guess trust is an asset, right? That your company maintains. Even your product, being a project manager, you also have to maintain that. So are there any things that you plan, or you all keep in mind, like a feedback loop kind of stuff, to maintain that trust? Like, the customer should have trust in your product. Like, you listen to a customer, maybe you implement what they want or something like that.
Yeah, Ankit. So this is a very important question you have asked. Uh, so we follow a product management or a product building cycle in a such a way that it meets to the customer needs, because every time we are building a feature, we ensure that we are talking to enough customers, because we don't want to build anything that we feel is necessary. We would want to talk to customers, we'd want to take their feedback, and once we have the feedback, then we build products, we build features. And even though we ship the product, we constantly take feedback from our employers and we try to improve it. So this is one aspect of trust. The other is, hiring is a sort of matchmaking industry. So uh, when an employer hires an applicant, so there is a certain level of trust between both of them. But we see that in the hiring industry, the trust gets broken between the recruiter and the job seekers many a time. So we as a platform, we are a two-sided marketplace, but we go a step more and try to resolve the issue between the recruiters and the students. That is, the students who are seeking for internship, if they land up in a mess. So that is, we take an extra step to resolve all these issues, and this is how we cultivate trust.
Yeah, that's awesome. So, we let's talk about customer problems. That is one of the top priorities of being a product manager, right? That you need to handle customer problems. So, in your case, like this is a use case that I've come across many times. Like, that should you always listen to a customer, or at times you shouldn't. So, what is your take on this? That you should be listening to customer all the time, or maybe sometime it's better to listen to your team and yourself, and you can suppress certain part of customers, because customers can be quite demanding at times. So what is your take on this? You should always listen, or maybe it's good to listen sometimes you can manage without it? Yeah.
Yeah, pretty interesting question. I read a blog where it was mentioned that Henry Ford was that guy who never advocated talking to customers, because he told that if I had asked my customers that what should I build so that they can travel faster from place A to place B, they would told me that build a faster horse, and they would never told me that build a car. So talking to customers can be very tricky. I think when you talk to when you have a vision in place and you want to change the world, it can make sense to not talk to your customers or not talk to people who are having a problem. Like if Wright brothers would have talked with people around and told him that I'm building an aircraft, people wouldn't have believed him, or oh, like he's just kidding. But on the other hand, if we have digital products, I think talking to customers is important when we are building features, when we want to enhance any feature. So I think then it makes sense. Then it makes a lot of sense to talk to customers. And also, I think we should not limit talking to a few customers. We should have enough data points. Like it can be a problem for a couple of customers, but is it worth solving? If it's problem for maybe 20% of my users, then it makes sense for me to solve that customer problem. So yeah, it depends on these cases, Ankit.
Yeah, really awesome. So yeah, let's get to this part. Like, being a project manager for so long, like more than a year now, you must have gone through many projects in this time. So has there been any situation you've been like where you overdid something? Like there was some problem you were solving, and you like went everything at it and created something that was you know overdoing that or over solving that problem, or maybe you sometimes underdid any problem. Like your experience, like have been like that, doing a lot about something or doing a very little about something. Yeah.
Yeah, I think, Ankit, so this is a very important art of product managers. So you should be very good at prioritizing things. So you should do things which are very necessary, and you should say no to things which are not important. I'd give an example, because I have also made mistakes, because this is my first job, and obviously as a product manager you would make mistakes in your career, but it is how you learn from your mistakes. So I wanted to build. So we have a form where employers can post an internship, and where they can also enter the skills they are looking for in the jobs. And then we found that a lot of employers were not mentioning any skills or filling random skills. So we wanted to build a classification model and suggest skills to employers. Uh, and I was very convinced that this is a good UX, it's a good enhancement to the product, and we should really build it. Then my mentor and my CTO suggested that what is the percentage of users who fill uh, these fields blank, and we found out that the number was very less, and it was around 30 to internships per week, which was very less, and because anyways our internal operations team was reviewing it, so there was no point in doing it. So we had to scrap that project. So yeah, Ankit, so there has been enough learning, to what to build and what not to build and how to prioritize stuff. And I think this is a very important skill of a product manager eventually, which he has to come up with.
Yeah, awesome. So, like, at your position, there are many stakeholders that you are, in touch with. Like, you are the point of contact for your team and, even the higher authorities, like you're the median, right? So, in that case, there might be some situations where you have to get something done, or there's some problem that you have to get solved. And, there might be some disagreement, maybe higher authorities, maybe among the team. So, how you handle those situations? Like, it's quite new for you, I agree, but, you must have grown some skills how to handle this part, because this is one of the most critical aspect of being a product manager. Yeah.
I think, Ankit, it's very important to be open, understand the other perspective that people are showing to you, and then come up with your point of view and try to convince people that why it is not like like why it is not necessary.
So
So
sorry to
so that
interrupt
is.
you. Sorry to interrupt you, but then what about like, do you agree what Steve used to do? Like, I haven't been with Steve Jobs or so, but I have read his book, and also many blogs and other lot of stuff about him is there on the internet. Like, they used to say that he has been quite strict at what he wants. If you cannot deliver, just get out. That's how he has been, kind of person. So, but that has paid off. Like the machines that we have today, at least that were like quite futuristic at that time. So wasn't it the right way of doing? Like what do you feel about it? That sometimes you need to be be like that or something.
I think, Ankit, that depends on the company that you're working in, the vision that the company has, and the trust that you have in your team members. But here at Internshala, we have a very open culture. We discuss everything. So if I'm not convinced, the other stakeholders would try to convince me, and ultimately, we try to have one point of view about our conversations. If still we are not having a one point of view, we take it as an experimentation. So if someone is pitching for an idea and suppose I'm not convinced, but anyway we are doing it, so we take it as an experimentation. We can have our share of learning. So you can either win or you can either lose. So anyways, it's a good share of learning. So yeah, you can take it that way around.
Okay, and in your industry, being a product manager, getting ideas is very important. You need to come up with new ideas or something. So getting a new idea or a good idea every time is not possible. We all know. You cannot come up with an idea overnight. Sometimes you may, but it's not always happens, right? So to get your product going, to make it better, if you need to copy others idea, or maybe kind of stealing others idea, what do you say? Is it important to do? I mean, like, you will do that if it's required to make a product better, or it's just I'll just get my own idea only, or something in house only. What do you feel about this? Should look around for ideas as well? Yeah.
So there are three parts to it, Ankit. So first is there are original ideas too, which product persons or stakeholders think in a company. So you should think from first principles, that try to come up with ideas. Elon Musk is a great proponator of first principle thinking, and the way Tesla is doing it, because they are revolutionizing the world, and they're able to do it because they are thinking from first principles. The second is you get the best ideas about your product when you talk to your customers. So there can be no substitute of it. You have to talk to your customers, and your customers really have a lot of pain points. They would share their pain points because they are the one who is using your product, and they have all the pain points and all the problems with your products, and they would share it. So that is second. Third is you don't have to reinvent the wheel, Ankit, every time. Copying is a very harsh word. I don't think that anyway copying should be used, because you know uh, any
No, no, get
idea, if you
inspiration. We can
see.
say taking inspiration, maybe. That's a better word to put
Yeah,
in.
yeah, taking inspiration. If you see, Snapchat was the first company which introduced stories in their product, in the social product.
And now it's
And
everywhere, yeah.
since then it's been everywhere. It's been in Instagram and Facebook, and on LinkedIn these days, on Twitter, which we call as fleets. And stories are more successful in Instagram than in Snapchat. So you never know that which idea can be successful in which product and in which scenarios. So I think taking inspiration from what others are doing is also a good thing, and there's nothing bad in it, Ankit, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's good. But like you are the market leaders, right? You are the market leader in this specific domain. So don't you feel any, like your competitors might be, taking in a lot of inspirations from your product and try to come up with as a good competitors maybe. So what is your strategy to handle that? Because it won't stop. Like people will keep on taking inspirations and try to make the product better. Even Musk says that I'm waiting for someone to just make a better car than me, and I'll just that's what he wants. So what is your strategy to handle this? Because definitely like you are at the top, but others are also not sitting down and waiting. They're also making improvements. So what do you feel about it?
Ankit, so I personally don't see or look at what competitors are doing at a very deep scale, because I think if you're able to satisfy your customers, if you're able to provide them value, and if you're doing things good, so I think other things shouldn't matter a lot to you. But anyways, I'd also want that there are other players who come up with a revolutionizing hiring product, because there is no Ola Uber sort of revolutionary product in hiring yet. So yeah.
Maybe you guys can do that. You are at the top. Who knows? So
Yeah, we
yeah,
are working on it,
definitely.
Ankur. If done correctly, we can definitely revolutionize hiring.
Yeah, like I don't know. That's a personal experience. Like I saw Musk. I follow Musk a lot. That's why Musk is coming almost every time. But yeah, one of his interview, a person asked him the same question. He said, that there are a lot of companies coming in and they're claiming to make even better cars than what he is doing. So he said that most of his patents etc. are open source. Anyone can access them, and he believes in evolving so fast that others are always catching up. Maybe that's something you can also take in account. So yeah, let's get to this part. You are working at Internshala. Like people will be interested to know about your interview. Like how was your interview at being an Internshala? Yeah.
Yeah, Ankit, sure. So at Internshala, I was given a case study to solve. I was asked to design an app to buy and sell old books. So that is the case that I got, and I prepared the case by working on it for straight 48 hours. And once I submitted the case and they liked it, so I had an interview scheduled with HR, then an interview scheduled with with the senior PM, and eventually, so the interview with HR was mainly a behavioral interview, and they wanted to know more about me. With the senior PM, the interview was more about my case studies and the certifications that I have done, a little bit about my startup and what we did and all. So that was it. Then finally, I had an interview with the CEO of Internshala. So it was a mix of behavioral interview, and he wanted to understand the product sense and analytical sense of my. So yeah, so these were the rounds of interviews that I had.
Yeah. So like there might be many aspirants who might be watching us. So what is your tips for them? Like what is something that they can do to make the increase their chances of getting into a product management role?
I think so. There are two ways out. If you are passing out from a premium college like IITs or top NITs, then there are chances that companies will visit your campus for product manager hiring. If you're not from the top colleges of this country, the only way that you can stand out is to build a very strong digital portfolio. If I want to hire someone uh, as a product manager, I would want that he has a sense of building products. So I'd prefer someone who has built a product in past. So as a student, you can think of building side projects, think of building products at an MVP level that solves some customer problems. The other thing is to build your brand on social media, write a lot, talk a lot, and read a lot. So these are three important aspects, because ultimately all of these will make you knowledgeable. So that is one stuff. The other is you should definitely refer to the standard interview practices that happens. So you can start by reading interview prep books. You can refer to many channels on YouTube which help candidates to prepare for interviews. There are a lot of cohort based courses these days that help you to do that. So and in India, in the last 1 years, we have great community like product folks or the creators of product, which help which help aspiring PMs to get into roles. So I think in the last 1 year, the space has been democratized. When I was breaking into product management role, I had very few people. I had very few resources. The community of product wasn't huge in India, or was really dormant. But these days, you have a lot of opportunities. If you want to break in, you can definitely break into product roles.
So, like, for all those who are in, like, graduating and they want to get into it, what kind of, like, you're talking about some kind of experience in making products, right? So, what they should do, they should, focus more on their college projects or something like that, or maybe, altogether, maybe starting a startup like you did.
I think that depends. That depends on what you're doing. So maybe if you have a problem that you are passionate to solve, and you think that this idea could be scaled and you can build money out of that, it makes sense to build a startup. Else you can build side projects. You can build your own side project that solves the problems of your campuses, of your friends, of your families. So you can do all these stuffs and have your own share of learning.
Yeah, that's pretty much sums it all. So I guess, with that, we can close our current session. So it's been very nice to talk to you, Venkatesh. And, it's been very great for me as well to, get so much knowledge from Venkatesh. So I guess we pretty much covered almost most of that stuff about product management. But like Venkatesh, if you have anything more to tell about product management, or, want to share something special about it, maybe the story you were talking about that can help others. So yeah, you can.
Sankit, I would refrain from giving gyan on your podcast. I
Okay.
think we it was supposed to be a free flowing conversation. I think your audience would start hating me if I give them gyan. But I think in life it's important that you have a very high dreams. Because you are the sum total of what you dream. So you should really dream big in your life, and you should not strive to be mediocre. So you should always strive that your bar should be above mediocrity once you have done it. So I think you're all sorted to do good in your life. And I think every day in your life is a great learning experience. So enjoy your day, enjoy what you're doing, enjoy the process. Don't focus on the result or the output. So it's important to focus on the process. Whatever you are doing, it will take time. Have perseverance, and you can do anything that you want.
That's pretty much sums it all. So, yeah, guys, with that, we can get to, close our session. So, let's see if we can do that. And it's been very nice to talk to you, Venkatesh. And, I myself really enjoyed it a lot. And, so with this, we close the live stream, guys. And it was really awesome to, conduct such live streams. And maybe I'll try to do more such streams maybe next week. So, stay tuned for that. Until then, yeah, bye.
Bye, Ankit. It was a
Yeah,
pleasure
bye,
having you.
Venkatesh. So, just 1 minute, man. Let